Chapter 1. Romans chapter 8, verse 21. Indwelling sin in believers, treated by the apostle, the place explained. It is of indwelling sin, and that in the remainders of it in persons after their conversion to God, with its power, efficacy, and effects, that we intend to treat. This also is the great design of the apostle, to manifest and evince in chapter 7 of the epistle to the Romans. Many indeed are the contests about the principal scope of the apostle in that chapter, and in what state the person is, under the law or under grace, whose condition he expresses therein. I shall not at present enter into that dispute, but take that for granted which may be undeniably proved and evinced, namely, that it is the condition of a regenerate person, with respect to the remaining power of indwelling sin, which is there proposed and exemplified by and in the person of the apostle himself. In that discourse, therefore, of his, shall the foundation be laid of what we have to offer upon this subject. Not that I shall proceed in an exposition of his revelation of this truth, as it lies in its own contexture, but only make use of what is delivered by him as occasion shall offer itself. And here first occurs that which he affirms, verse 21. I find then a law, that when I would do good, evil is present with me. There are 4 things observable in these words. First, the appellation he gives to indwelling sin, whereby he expresses its power and efficacy. It is a law. For that which he terms a law in this verse, he calls in the foregoing sin that dwelleth in him. Secondly, the way whereby he came to discovery of this law, not absolutely and its own nature, but in himself. He found it. I find a law. Thirdly, the frame of his soul and inward man with this law of sin and under its discovery, he would do good. Fourthly, the state and activity of this law, when his soul is in that frame, when it would do good, it is present with him. For what ends and purposes we shall show afterwards. The first thing observable is the appellation here used by the apostle. He calls indwelling sin a law. It is a law. A law is taken either properly for a directive rule or improperly for an operative effective principle, which seems to have the force of a law. In its first sense, it is a moral rule which directs and commands and sundry ways moves and regulates the mind and the will as to the things which it requires or forbids. This is evidently the general nature and work of a law. Some things it commands, some things it forbids, with rewards and penalties which move and impel men to do the one and avoid the other. Hence, in a secondary sense, an inward principle that moves and inclines constantly to any actions is called a law. The principle that is in the nature of everything, moving and carrying it towards its own end and rest, is called the law of nature. In this respect, every inward principle that inclines and urges unto operations or actions suitable to itself is a law. So Romans chapter 7, verse 2, the powerful and effectual working of the Spirit and grace of Christ in the hearts of believers is called the law of the Spirit of life. And for this reason does the apostle here call indwelling sin a law. It is a powerful and effectual indwelling principle, inclining and pressing to actions agreeable and suitable to its nature. This, and no other, is the intention of the apostle in this expression. For although the term a law may sometimes intend a state and a condition, and if here so used, the meaning of the words should be, I find that this is my condition. This is the state of things with me. That when I would do good, evil is present with me.